Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
All right, it's Coffee Ann time here on ON Radio. It's Wednesday, June 14th. Thanks for joining us at the Coffee Ann. It's Dave's got it wrong again.
I'm off by a month. I know. I did that this morning at 6 o'clock, and I've been ruining it all day.
Yes. That's Dave Richards over there. Good morning to you, Dave.
And it's Flag Day.
And
here he is with the Navigant flag, Timmy Draper.
Flag Day, woohoo! I wish I had a theme song, but I don't. I have no patriotic song sung by Jimmy Cagney.
Nothing at all?
Nope, nothing.
America the Beautiful?
Nothing. Well, I could run
And
this.
coming in on chair number 3. All rise, gentlemen.
Karaoke.
She's arrived.
All rising. All rise.
And we had the window
be a
open
mom
for
morning.
you ahead of time. We don't want to get yelled at again this week.
Well, I'm just going to apologize to everybody for my lack of consistency in being at the show last month.
We look at it the other way,
Melissa
Tim.
Smith, nice to meet you. Who are you? Hi, good to
Damn
see
glad
you.
to meet you.
Good to see you.
We thought it was remarkably how consistent you were in your not arriving yet.
I just realized I shook your hand after spilling coffee all over it 5 minutes ago.
Oh, that's right.
How
Oh,
was
it
that?
hurts.
Was that good?
We have paper
Better than smell
towels.
like the swordfish I had last night.
Would you like a wet wipe?
Oh, no, I'm good. I trust that Melissa is fairly sanitary.
Fairly.
I am. It's
I
just,
am-
oh my gosh, I feel like I always come in with stories. These poor listeners, I'm good. We're good.
That's why they
Oh, is
tune
this
in.
for me?
It's the
That's
story.
for
And she brought gifts.
And I brought
Thank you.
gifts. Oh my gosh.
All right. Are you ready for your first message, Melissa?
You know
You didn't
what?
even introduce her yet.
Oh, it's Melissa Smith, everybody.
I
figure
think
this
they're
out.
used to me by now.
She brought a gift, Tim. I get it first, Denise gets it next, and then you get it this
Oh,
afternoon.
there we go. So it's going
Oh
around.
my
Round.
gosh.
It's great how this system works.
us left out.
I know, I get nothing. The St. Antoine Communities is the sponsor of the first segment of Coffee Ann. So, Melissa, it's all yours.
Right. So I'm Melissa Smith. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for St. Antoine Community. We are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield, and we're on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skill care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the 2 buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76 apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skill care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@stantoine.net.
All right, Melissa.
She did
nicely
not
done.
look down at that script once.
Not
She
once.
has got that thing committed to memory.
I do, and I don't really need it, but you guys every so often distract me, and I'm like, and I'm that kind of person that's like
No.
squirrel, and I
That
just
is
turn,
not
and I
right.
always want to make sure I get every detail about the community in there, because if you happen to have new listeners and they don't know anything about us, they need to hear at least the full
Continuum
summarized
of care.
That's
nutshell.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's not much to say other than, yep, it happened. Trump pleaded not guilty.
Shocking.
Well, okay. And then he got in his plane and went to New Jersey and played golf.
And yelled
okay.
at everybody and their brother who's involved. So
Yep.
yeah.
So that's kind of what happened yesterday. Do you have anything else to say about that, Melissa?
You know, I always struggle with what's wrong with just like owning it and saying, you know what, I have them.
Yeah.
Other presidents have them. You know, let's just be even Steven. If I'm going to get in trouble, let everyone else be in trouble. But why plead not guilty? I mean, I don't really understand the strategy. It's obvious, right? You have them. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have them. There's evidence of it. What are we doing?
I wonder if I
I don't know.
I oftentimes just feel like this is all a calculated
All of it.
plan, right? I mean, they know that he's going to get creamed in the press, but he's going to be in the press for weeks on end about this whole thing, and
Oh,
it's
it's
going to be all
exhausting.
about him.
So
and there won't be
tired,
anything
yeah.
about any of the other candidates in the race, other than their little tiny criticisms of the process or of him, one or the other. But this is just such an ego boost for him, even though it's not really good news. The guy's he's in trouble, I think. You know, if the charges prove out. You're not supposed to have. You can't, I don't think there's a process for declassifying in your mind. I was sleeping last night. I had a dream about declassifying all these documents, so they were declassified. I'm not sure you can do that.
I mean, that's the thing, is making a mockery of it too.
Right.
And so there's tons of layers. I think the biggest thing for me is I'm just tired, like, of listening to anything related to him. Support him or not, it's up to you. There's got to be a better guy out there. Like, why are we giving another minute to providing any more attention to someone who's just
Because he leads the polls.
Yeah,
he's
but
just
I mean,
so-
On that side.
it's
over
because
the
he's
top.
got 32% of
get it.
the base just are never going to leave him alone. Never going to leave him. They're just never going to leave
No,
him.
they love
And that's
him.
the problem. And that's why he'll win the Republican primary.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think, I have to think that middle America is done with Donald Trump. They're not the rabid fans. They're the ones that are offended by the tweets. They're the ones that are offended by everything else that he did when he was president the first time. They're not thinking about the election yet, because nobody's really thinking about it yet, except the people in the trenches. And so I just wonder if everybody's tired of him by then. But then I ask myself, what's the option? If he wins the Republican primary, it's him and Joe Biden again. Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go.
Just pointing that out.
That's it. We did get a note that was called in about this, kind of a lengthy one here. 766-1240. Caller says, I could write a chapter about this tyrant. However, I'll put it into just a few words. Whatever happens with the results of the documents withheld is one thing, but to still be defiant of the voter turnout and the events of the assault on the Capitol, in which he, A, cannot accept the results of the election, B, and inciting the riot, is unconscionable. He has corrupted the entire nation with these actions and continues to do so. The USA, our great country, as he says, has crumbled because of his defiance. He should be exiled from the country and abolished forever.
Yeah.
well, they seem like they're
Okay.
over it too.
Yeah. I'm just
Right.
afraid of. I'm more concerned about what happens. Well, first of all, I'm not sure that this thing goes to trial before the election. That's number one. But number two, I'm.
Did they
I'm
set a
concerned-
date yesterday? After
I don't
you
think
said-
so.
I didn't hear that either.
I
You're just released on your own recognizance, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, I think, exactly the way he wants it.
Did they take his passport from him?
I don't think so. I think he's
Did
free
they
to travel.
fingerprint him?
Okay.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. Took his
I
picture,
didn't- I
fingerprint.
didn't-
I mean, technically, he's under arrest.
Yep. And they just let him out.
Right.
And
Wait,
so, and then
trial.
the assigned judge, I guess, is supposedly someone. I just read, like, I really, every time he comes up on the screen now, I change the channel because I can't hear anything else about it. But assigned judge is supposedly someone who he had appointed himself.
yes.
She has
recommended.
ruled favorably in his behalf in the past.
So is this going to be?
But
a
she's
fair
also been
trial?
overturned by a higher court and scolded by that higher court.
And she'll
as
be
well,
watched
so-
closely for this, I'm
yeah,
sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enough on that for now.
Amen.
Congratulations to the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
You know what's great about that? Bruce Cassidy.
100%.
winning the Stanley Cup. They
Right.
defeated the
What a
Florida
mistake
Panthers
we made.
4-1.
I didn't make any mistake. I would have never fired him. Those guys. Are,
I didn't mean we. Like,
I
I was speaking on behalf of.
It's we when we win. It's not we when we lose.
Totally right. It's totally right.
However, we say that, we never should have fired him like that. But something was going on in the locker room.
Right. The
with
players
Bruins.
didn't like him for
Chemistry.
whatever reason.
Yeah, and so we can't get rid of all the players, so we get rid of the coach. And the Bruins played really well
Right.
until the end.
Until
Last-
they get
last
beat by
year.
And then
the
there
team
were
that
some
just
bad
got
coaching
killed
choices.
last
So
night.
yeah.
So, and they really responded to the new coach. So, would they have responded to Bruce Cassidy last year? I don't know. And you don't know. I would have loved to have seen a Bruce Cassidy versus the Bruins Stanley Cup.
Oh, and no.
Oh, that would've
would
been
have
really
the best,
good.
but not to be. And if you want to see the Stanley Cup, it is making its way to Martha's Vineyard. Nope, sorry, Cape Cod this summer. Bruce Cassidy's gonna. He said he's either got a place or he's rented a place, and he's bringing the cup to the Cape.
Good
If
man.
you want to go see it, that's
Ooh, that's a little sting,
big
huh?
middle
That's
finger
a
to everybody
big
in
sting.
the leadership in
Massachusetts.
Boston.
Absolutely.
Right.
And he'll stand out there in Provincetown. See?
Drinking champagne at the local restaurants from it. Oh yeah, it's perfect.
Absolutely. Okay. So things are bad when you two Rhode Island State Police cruisers crash into each other.
Oh, into each other. I know.
So this happened on 95 South in Providence, and a cruiser has pulled over because there is a disabled vehicle on the side of the road. Along comes another cruiser, smashes into the cruiser,
You wonder-
not into the disabled car.
Right.
And
There's
usually they have their lights on.
right. What? So something's up with that. I don't. It's a weird.
It's odd. Both troopers were treated at Rhode Island Hospital, so it was a pretty bad
boy.
accident,
Yeah.
and they were both released, so they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But It's under investigation. Will we ever hear the real truth of what happened?
No.
I don't know.
I don't
But
think
anyway.
I bet their buddies will hear the real story.
Oh,
A
yeah.
couple of
Oh, yeah. And then maybe someone's
Maybe
going to
we'll
be
hear.
reprimanded kind of thing. But,
Well, they
that's-
first of all,
it's just
to
embarrassing.
to have that much damage to the cruiser, you had to be moving along. It wasn't like it was a slow speed accident.
Oh, no.
fender bender.
One rear-ended the other.
Yeah, and the front of the other one was pretty well smashed
Yeah.
in.
Oof. I want to know who's in charge of buying new cars
Oh,
for the state police.
yeah, probably some procurement officer in the back room
Do
somewhere.
they have a little stash of the money somewhere staved away that they?
I mean, the car could, maybe it can be fixed. That's the other thing.
Well, that's true, and it's possible it's not totaled, so we'll have to see. All right, good news. The Cannabis Commission has been approved in Rhode Island.
Oh, thank God.
And none of us are
And
on
we're
it.
not on it.
How does that happen? I
We
don't get
pitched
it.
for it. We
I
were.
know.
Nope. Kimberly Ahern is the governor's deputy chief of staff. She's on it. That's the only person. That's the only name I got. I thought I'd have all three, but I don't.
It's a one-person committee.
Is that one pretty well?
All right.
Like the CFPB.
What do you think? I don't know. What do you think?
Now the cannabis people in Rhode Island can go to the commission and say, "Can we please put up our billboards?
Billboards. I know.
Can you please approve that?" And
Hurry up, by the way. Don't do it.
I-
Don't take forever.
Oh, they'll take their time. You'll see.
Just grab the
Well, I don't
Massachusetts
know.
law and bring it into Rhode Island and say, "Here, follow
What
these
do
rules."
you want to say on your billboard? And what can you say and what can't you say?
Yeah.
It's weird, some of the Massachusetts ones I see. There's no address. It's just a town. Sometimes I've seen the ones that we're in Plain.
Novaris,
We're,
is that one of them
we're
or something in
I can't
Massachusetts?
remember the names, but there's one in Plainville,
Yeah.
and that's all it says. We're in Plainville.
Plainville.
Come find us.
Come find it.
Well, the sign says cannabis. So,
Right.
Google.
Cannabis, and it's in Plainville.
yep.
Probably not that many places in Plainville.
You don't
It's
really
it is a
need-
small town, and it is on Route 1, by the way.
Yeah.
On your way to Foxborough.
Yeah.
But I've seen that at other places, North Attleboro, Fairhaven.
Right.
Maybe you can't put the actual
Yeah.
street
Did I
address.
see it? I thought
I
I
don't
saw-
know that
Because
they
how
have
can
retail.
you Google it?
Well, I think the problem was even the signs on the buildings that they're complaining about that too, weren't they? The
In
the
Mass or
state,
Rhode
no,
Island?
in Rhode Island, because I thought I saw on 95 heading north towards Pawtucket that there was a dispensary on the right hand side, and it was just their sign on the side of the building. I thought, well, that's a billboard. So,
But if it's on
I
their
wonder-
building, is it not?
Well, I know. So
Oh, we're splitting
technically, it's a
hairs.
building sign, right? We're splitting hairs. But
Yeah.
if you're on 95 and you got a building there and you can throw the sign up there, you kind of have a billboard.
So is there just a leaf? Is that what they're bothered about?
No, I don't know. I thought it
Mm.
was because and it was the guy that Joe Procuris, is that the guy's name, who owns one of the pharmacies around? He also owns a dispensary, and he's the lead sort of that's protagonist for the marijuana industry, and the fact that they hadn't set the Cannabis Commission up, and that they were trying to figure all the once they figured that out, then they could figure the rules out, but they were afraid that it was just going to take forever to do, and Massachusetts has already got a pretty good stranglehold on the market, the Rhode Island market, because their billboards that are in Rhode Island legally are advertising their services in Massachusetts. So
I find this interesting. I just had to jump online and take a look at your Plainville one. I was just curious.
Okay.
So, and I
looked it
made
up
the
in her
comment. I
context.
thought the signs all said like cannabis. I feel like any of the ones that I've passed
Okay.
say cannabis, but this actually has a brand called Apothetherapeutics.
Yep. Okay.
Is that it? Is
Yeah.
that right? It's a pretty funky looking building. Actually, it looks like a brewery, and
Yeah.
inside kind of looks like a brewery. Like, it kind of looks like a walk-up
Odd.
station with. It looks like taps, but they're not taps. But
They
there's
don't
little
have a
display
liquor
windows.
license.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of industrial looking, and then there's lots of apparel for sale, just like a brewery would have. And then there's samples of a THC seltzer. So I'm feeling like this is very interesting. Actually, there's definitely.
All right, field
sounds
trip.
like a field. I was
Field
just
trip. Here we
gonna
go.
say,
Field trip.
sounds like a field trip this
Oh,
weekend.
so these kinds of signs is what you're suggesting may be offensive or not. This says like
Now
now
open.
open recreational marijuana dispensary. What I find ironic is the subtlety of the name of the place being called
Yeah,
Apothetherapeutics
Yeah.
leaves you a little bit like, oh, is
It's medicinal.
is it a rehab? Is it a this? Is it
Yeah.
a that? And then that sign point blank says there's marijuana here.
Yeah. Right.
So I wonder if that's
Mo-
what people are upset about.
I don't know. Most don't say that. They keep the word marijuana out of it.
Cannabis is what they call it.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's a better word for
Yeah.
it. It's like when we euthanize the dog. We don't kill it. we euthanize it. Oh, that's okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like how therapeutic is being used in so many different. I understand that it is a form of therapy. I'm not disputing that.
For some,
I'm
correct.
saying it's used in so many different. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyways.
We got to take our first break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way, but back over to Melissa for a second message from the St. Antoine communities.
Yeah, so this
Please.
is the last time that I can kind of mention the longest day, because I believe it's next Tuesday. Are we already at June 21st?
Week from today, actually.
Holy cannoli. Okay. So a week out, I have a little bit to do on my end to get ready for this. But we have sold out of all of the pinwheels I had bought, which was about 300. Wow. And hoping, I just placed another order. Hopefully they'll come in enough time. But you have about another week to buy some pinwheels. I have a few in my possession. But if you're interested in supporting this event, it's a national initiative from the Alzheimer's Association. So we're raising money to draw attention and awareness of the longest day and selling purple pinwheels for $5 a piece. You can write messages to your loved ones or in honor of your loved one that may be suffering from Alzheimer's. And we are going to be assembling those purple pinwheels and displaying them along our walking path on the 21st with a little celebration, some snacks, treats, whatever, all purple, of course. And then presenting a check to the Alzheimer's Association for the Rhode Island chapter. So if you want to do a lot of good and bringing awareness, but also raising funds for a wonderful cause, reach out to me. I'd be happy to sell you the last few pinwheels I have. You can call me at 401-767-3500 or stop by either of our receptionist desks at either St. Antoine Residence or the Villa at St. Antoine.
All right,
Thank
Melissa.
you.
Thank you. More coming your way. You can call in your comments and questions to Coffee In at 766-1240.
Medicaid members, have you had a change in address, income, household size, phone number, or email? With Medicaid renewals resuming this year, you don't want to miss your notifications, so don't forget to update your account information at this website, healthyroad, that's RHODE.RI.gov, or get free help with your Medicaid renewal at Community Care Alliance, 55 John A. Cummings Way, Woonsocket. Simply drop by on June 15th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. This message sponsored by Community Care Alliance in the public interest. It's finally here, the first of the 10 Live at Amp Woonsocket Friday night free concerts at River Island Art Park. This week we kick it all off at 6 p.m. with smooth music perfect for dancing. Rhode Island native Becky Bass returns to the Live at Amp stage as our opening act. Then it's Kiki Valera with the music of Cuba. There's nothing like live music in a beautiful park setting, so come, bring a blanket or lawn chair, live music, food trucks, on-site bar, kids activities, and activities for every age with the dynamic Jerry Barclay King. If you can't come this week in person, concerts will be broadcast live over the air on ON AM and FM stereo radio and streamed live at woonsocketradio.com or watch in your home on your smart TV via our YouTube channel, ON Worldwide. Our weekly live broadcasts are sponsored in part by Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center, Tasca Buick GMC, Family Discount Furniture, Dean Bank, Peter J. Hopkins Attorney at Law, and Jerry's Bluffing Boutique.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. They're looking for a 15-year-old girl in Johnston.
Oh no,
Yeah,
missing?
missing since Monday. Missing juvenile. Canady Littlejohn, 15-year-old girl, reported last seen Monday on Dean Avenue, going towards Putnam Avenue in Johnston. Authorities say Littlejohn is known to frequent the city of Pawtucket. And if you want to see a picture of her, she's on the Johnston Police Department Facebook page to see if you...
Is it a runaway
can locate
situation,
her.
you think? Or?
Well, they're not sure yet.
They don't know yet.
They don't want to jump to conclusions just yet about
right.
this, but she's just, at the moment, she's just missing.
So do they do amber alerts for 15-year-olds? They must, right?
They do, because they're still a juvenile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this is
it's
awful
out.
to say, but I used to have the Amber Alert on my phone. I had to turn it off
many?
You can get into a real bad place as a parent when you start
Really?
reading,
Yeah.
because you just feel like I'm feeling for this. I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. Like you're just,
Mm-hmm.
and also you hear stories like I've shared often. I'm in my last few months of having a bunch of kids piled in my car before they start driving on their own. But I listen intently to conversations, and without sharing too much, like how often I'll hear one of the girls in the back mention, "Oh, I'm talking to this guy online that I met through Instagram, and he's in Georgia," and I'm like, okay, so this
Why?
is not okay. Like, where's your mom? Like, how are you not? But then I'm thinking, like, is it bragging rights? Is it really happening? Like, what is it? But then you can see on your kid's Instagram account when they have like 2,000 friends or 2,000
Yeah.
people they're following, but your town only has like so many teens, population of like 300, 400 kids. Like, you gotta think the worst. Like,
Do any of their friends bring up, hey, this guy could be 50,
oh, as a mom in the front seat, I absolutely am like, do you understand that this could be the creepiest creepy guy? And oh, Mrs. Smith. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, you don't
like,
know.
Oh,
You need
yeah.
to get that.
Oh,
You need to get
God.
that Keith Morrison to show up at your kids' doors and start talking about the people that are out there, the scum that are out there they're preying on these kids like that.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to keep in mind. So Snapchat,
Dateline.
I don't know enough about. I have it. I don't know how to use it myself, but I do know my kids' friends all like to friend me because I'm that cool mom, right?
You're the cool mom.
I am and I'm not.
She is,
I'm a cool
100%.
mom, but I've got a stern hand. But
The important word
what
is the mom.
concerns me is all of the kids that still have their location enabled on that. My kids are not allowed to, and I can see
Yeah.
that they don't unless they have fake accounts, which your head could keep going, right? But that concerns me. I'm like, even my nieces and nephews have their location finder on there, and you're thinking, gosh, it's so easy to hop from Instagram to follow someone on Snapchat because they're all interconnected, and then now you know where they're located. So then you got that creep guy in Georgia who is going to track down my daughter's friend. It's just
So many scenarios
so
go
easy
through your
is
head.
my point. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's what happened in this, but all it takes
Right.
is a vulnerable, insecure
Yep.
15-year-old girl who doesn't have a boyfriend at school, who's getting attention from some guy in another state who is flooding her feed, and it's just awful. It's awful.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm done.
Okay. Now the
That's a
governor,
public service announcement, I think.
the governor of Rhode Island, Dan McKee, has decided to declare, and I want to know if you agree with it. He's declared a disaster emergency to help to address the significant damage that happened to the Newport Cliffwalk in 2022. Now, the governor of Pennsylvania declared a disaster area when the bridge collapsed.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
Yeah. What's happening in New Jersey Philadelphia is a
That's
disaster.
Fixing the cliffwalk is this
Not a
is this
disaster.
a disaster? I don't think so either.
If the city of Newport wants
wants
it-
impacting
Tourism?
if it's impacting the dollar count for tourism, right? Like
But the
people
cliffwalk
drawing
is
in.
free.
It is free, but it brings people to Newport, which then in
Yes.
turn go over to.
Well, the city of Newport has closed a portion of the walkway indefinitely. As a result, I guess someone fell into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it's affecting tourism in Newport.
I just think that is not an expense that we need to absorb as
No.
a country, because
Well,
it's federal dollars, right? That's what's coming in.
The state wants. Are you sitting down?
Oh yeah, 15 million.
$10 million
Right, to fix the cliff
to
walk.
fix the cliff walk.
Yeah. I'm just. That's not
It was the collapse was caused by sea erosion and inclement weather incidents.
right. Like that's
It
never going to
rained.
happen again.
Oh,
So we're
no,
gonna have to
right.
we're gonna have to permanently fix the cliff walk to prevent it from ever getting hit by hurricanes.
I understand it's a big tourist attraction, and that's great. But I look at New Hampshire.
I knew you were going to say this.
And the old man.
Man
The
on
old
the
man on the
mountain.
mountain
Yeah, fell.
Yep.
There's a million ways they could have fixed that.
Did they put it back up?
No.
No. It fell. Oh,
It fell.
we fixed it as many times as we could fix it.
Right.
And then it fell. Just because.
Right.
Okay.
And what they've done.
And this is where it used to be.
Right. Well, have you seen what they did? I mean, they've done it's really cool. You go to that same spot where you would
Okay.
have normally looked at Old Man.
Yep.
And they've got this series of what looks like poles with little pieces at the end of it, and they're all sort of in a line that when you get to a certain point and you stand on a certain dot, if you're a certain height, and you look at the mountain, it actually
like a lot
shows,
of work.
Well, it shows them. It's the profile of the Old Man.
Okay.
It looks just like the
Well,
Old Man
yeah.
sitting on top of the mountain, like it hasn't fallen.
Oh, all right.
It's
Well,
really
that's
kind of
cool.
wild.
Well, I think instead of getting federal money on this, if Newport wants to fix it, let them pay for it, and a little at a time.
So the only thing I can add to that is the last time I walked there, I found it wicked dangerous, and I hadn't
always
been in a while,
dangerous.
and I was like, oh man, this is like I'm a little clumsy here, and
Yeah.
like if I just did the wrong thing, I'm in the water. Is there a way for them to? I mean, those are all mansions lining that strip, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like
That
can
are
you
all.
just,
I think they're all. Many of them are owned by the Newport
Newport.
Preservation Society now, right, or something like that.
So is there a way to work with them on like gaining 10 feet of clearance into the lawns, move that black wrought iron fence up there, and then just do an actual?
You fix it.
I think
know?
when it first happened, the city of Newport wanted to do that. The Preservation Society wanted to do that. They went out and they tried to see what it would be fundraising wise to fix that. But when you got to a point where it was now multi-millions of dollars to fix it, I think they all went, well, we can never do that.
Yeah, so let's
That's just
get the feds in.
How are we going to feed people in the streets
Yeah.
of
Right.
Newport? Because
Well, 'cause
Newport,
Newport is, yeah,
well, by and
impoverished.
large, is not a wealthy community.
not.
Right.
It's kind
It's
of
not.
impoverished in a couple areas. So how are we going to feed these people? How are we going to home them? How put them in homes? How are we going to clothe them? And we're out spending $10 million on a path.
Some rocks.
I mean, that's the thing that really is like,
Yeah. That's
do
the
we
other thing.
want to do
People
that?
Are not, taxpayers in Rhode Island are going to take a look at that, and they're
Yeah.
going to say absolutely not, because a lot of them don't realize that Newport doesn't have money.
Yeah.
It's
See,
But
not
the
as
problem
wealthy
is
as
the
it's
people
perceived.
who want that done are the ones that have the money
Right.
Yeah.
that aren't going to give it up. They want somebody else to pay for it, and then of course they're the ones supporting the politicians who are making the request.
So what part of the cliff walk has fallen? Is it near? I don't know the name
I think
of
it's
that
near
road.
the beginning.
Is it near the beginning?
the
Because
Rose-
if it's like 2 miles in, okay, well, walk a mile and then walk back out.
No, I think it's in the middle.
Okay.
I want to say it's near the breakers, but I'm not
Is it?
100% sure. Don't quote me on that.
All right. Well,
We'll find out, and we'll get back
But-
to you next
Yeah.
week.
but anyway, yeah. But anyway, since the governor has declared it a disaster area, the money's just going to come from the feds. It's not nothing's going to
Well,
be voted on.
Yeah, it's going to come from you and me.
Well, that's
as
true.
it always does.
As
Right.
from the feds. You're right. All right.
You got
this,
that money lying around, don't you?
Oh shit! Let me just
brand
pull it up.
it?
I'd
The
probably get
Navigant
it.
Credit
Let me
Union
get
Cliff
the
Walk?
Cliff Walk. Somebody should do
Hey.
it. Somebody should do that.
Somebody could brand it.
There you go.
Citizens Bank seems to have a lot of money.
Well, the General Assembly has passed a bill, and because they want to change the date of the 2024 presidential primary in Rhode Island.
Yeah, just
All right.
but there's a holiday or something that
Yeah,
day, isn't
they
there?
want to move it to Tuesday, April 2nd, rather than April 23rd, because April 23rd of 2024 is the first day of Passover.
Yeah,
So rather than have it on that holiday, that Jewish holiday, let's move it to April 2nd. I'm fine with the whole thing.
yeah, it's like a
what's the
big
deal?
non-event.
Yeah, so they passed it, and now it goes to the governor. I'm sure he'll sign it.
Other
Okay,
than the
this is
political
not a big
wonks
deal.
that are out there, do you think anybody knows when primary day is in Rhode Island ever?
Well, not now. When it's
Yeah.
it's next year, you don't know it.
You could have
now.
changed the date. We wouldn't have cared because
Yeah.
it's not going to look
Don't-
like the 24th. I got to go to the 24th.
If you don't,
So
ma-
Nobody
true.
knows that.
If you don't
Nobody
make any,
knows.
if you don't send any, don't send out a press release. Don't let
Right.
anybody know.
Yeah, just
and
change it.
We'll quietly move, and everyone will go, okay.
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
exactly what'll happen.
How many of you just go day by day with your calendar as it is? Like, I don't look ahead. I don't plan for anything anymore. Life's too busy. You just,
Oh, I got to vote today.
yep, that's what happens. I get a reminder on my phone. That's all that happens.
I got to vote.
So true.
All right. I want to get into something, but it's going to take a little time. So let's get to the weather forecast. We'll take care of that first.
I think I could tell you it's hot.
It's hot in here anyway.
I'm quite comfortable, thank you. Anyway, the weather forecast is being sponsored by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism.
Increasingly cloudy with a high of 79, 40% chance of a shower. Tonight, the 40% chance of a shower continues. Some storms could be severe, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 56. Thursday's weather partly sunny and 77. Friday, a 60% chance of a shower, partly sunny skies and 77. Saturday, 60% chance of a shower, mostly cloudy with a high of 72. Sunday, partly sunny and 72. Monday, mostly cloudy and 72. And on Tuesday, mostly cloudy and 71.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have sunny skies with 73 degrees. Explore the many hidden gems of Massachusetts and discover that the best things in life aren't things. They're moments. Go to visitma.com for your chance to win a getaway, including hotel dinners and outdoor activities.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
At Dean Bank, their focus is on helping their customers achieve financial success.
Dean Bank is a full-service bank, so they're able to deliver solutions that solve financial problems of all shapes and sizes. And as your neighbor, it's their mission to make a positive impact within the communities where they live and work. Dean Bank offers scholarships to students from participating schools, sponsor local charitable organizations, and more. Visit one of their local Blackstone Valley branches in Bellingham and Blackstone today, or find us online at deanbank.com. Dean Bank, it's my bank.
Hello, this is Manny Brando. I hope you will listen to us each Sunday morning at 8:30. I will sing your favorite songs, and my wife Virginia will organize everything.
That's right, Manny. It's the Manny and Virginia Show every Sunday morning at 8:30 on ON, AM, and FM radio.
It is Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, and joined by Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And Tim, time for your first message from Navigate Credit
It's that
Union.
time again, huh,
It's
Joe?
that time of year.
All right, PSA, everybody. We talked about fraud. We talk about fraud a lot at the credit union in terms of how to prevent it. And I'm here to tell you once again that the bad guys are out there on the streets trying to get your information. They're doing it through a variety of methods, text messages on your phone that seem familiar but unexpected, emails that you could receive, telephone calls you're going to get asking you to confirm information. Hey, we have the last 4 digits of your social security number, but we need the first 7 or whatever, 8 or whatever it is. Please, if you are skeptical of any of these phone calls, then just say, I'm going to call you back, and hang up the phone and call the company on the numbers that are published online or in the phone book, if anybody still uses that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to confirm these things, and you need to be your best advocate, your own best advocate. We see time and time again, every week this happens now, where one of our members is either almost scammed or scammed. In many cases, our team is trained to pick that stuff up. And like I said, they'll ask you questions that you'll be offended by because they're asking you questions like, what are you going to do with the money? Just understand that we're really there to protect you and your financial well-being. And, without those questions, without those probing questions, you don't have to answer them. But when you get scammed out of $40,000 and you come back to us and go, what, $40,000 taken out of my account? Well,
we asked.
We'll do whatever we can to help you survive, but that we told you, one of those deals. And of course, we'll never say that. But we're telling you now to be aware and be your own best advocate. So navigatecu.org is our website, and you can find all the tools for security in our educational section of the website. Just go there. There's helpful videos. There's stories, and then there's certain warning signs that you'll want to be aware of. So navigatecu.org. Or if you're not sure, just call us 223-4700 and say, did you guys call me and ask me for this information? Which we will probably say no.
Do you have connections at the North Smithfield location that you could reach out to and let them know that they need to wipe the pollen off their ATM screen?
Oh, yes.
I had a terrible time last night, and I'm like, do I want to get my arm in there
No,
and
you don't.
try to wipe it? I
Thank
really
you.
don't.
I will, I'll
but
ask-
it is so coated, it's so gross,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my god.
I'll ask Maria to go out and do
Okay,
that.
great, thanks.
Sometimes, believe it or not, they do clean those machines.
The
off
listeners
once
are
a week.
thanking me for bringing this up.
They do. They try to do that stuff at least once a week. The problem is the pollen's just so
it's
bad.
crazy.
It's really crazy. So I will make sure I get somebody out there and
Get out the
look at
Windex.
that. Right.
All right.
Maria on my
We had
way.
a note that was called in, 766-1240. Back to Bruce Cassidy of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Lest we not forget when he started and injured Tuukka Rask in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm sure Bruins fans have not forgotten. So someone not a Bruce Cassidy fan. So
Oh yeah.
All right.
it happens. Well, we didn't have any
Well-
else to play, so
That is true. It's like Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and winning the Super Bowl.
yeah. And,
And change keeps us on our toes. We're okay with it. We're really right.
Well, we'll give the Bruins another year. See if they can get to
See
the
what they come back with.
see if they can come back. I mean, if they can repeat and get back into get into the finals, that will be all will be
boost.
forgotten,
That's
as they
right,
say,
it
right?
is.
All will be forgotten.
Okay, well, the General Assembly yesterday passed legislation, both the House and the Senate, that would protect organ donors from unfair discrimination as it pertains to insurance and disability income. I didn't even know this was an issue. And the bill would prohibit insurers from denying life, disability insurance, and long-term care disability insurance solely on the basis of the individual's status as a living donor. Have you heard of this issue, Melissa? Would this be people are they losing life insurance because they have decided to become
An organ donor?
an organ donor?
I have not heard
You
this.
thinking people are going to want to donate their organs early or something?
I don't know.
Are you saying if I want to just donate a kidney, like, what are we
Oh,
saying?
yeah,
Or are
maybe
you saying
that.
if I've died and I'm an
No.
organ donor? Where are we at?
You're a live person.
I'm alive and
Where are
I'm
we at?
giving you my
The kidney. It's a good example.
Well, according to on the House side, John Edwards, he represents Tiverton. He goes, to be penalized for such an altruistic act is not only unconscionable, it's absurd. Decisions on insurance coverage should be made based on sound actuarial practices, not unilateral decisions to discriminate against those who are making noble sacrifices. The bill will protect more than just organ donors. It will ultimately protect those who receive those organs as well by encouraging more people to donate.
Are they thinking that by donating part of your body while you're alive makes your body less? What's the word I'm looking for?
I'm sure they've done some formula of like life expectancy or other issues that may occur as a result.
So a kidney has a purpose. You give half
Yep.
your kidney away. Now your purpose is 50%. It can only handle 50% of what it did. And so life, you're apt to get more sick.
Right.
You're apt to be.
Well, according to Melissa Murray on the Senate side, she is quoted saying studies have shown that many kidney donors, for instance, have difficulty changing or initiating insurance, particularly life insurance. This is a practice that could make potential donors reluctant to donate. The bill would stop the practice and offer them protection.
Oh, you know what's so funny? I love it when stuff like this comes up because I would never have ever thought of that.
I never thought of it either.
And I do know that there is a need for for people to get checked regularly to see if they're a match to help people out.
But it's interesting that the insurance companies would just flat out deny people insurance. Wouldn't they just alter the price because their risk went up a little bit if you?
Risk is the right word I was looking for a minute ago, and my head wouldn't think of it. I
Risk,
was like,
there it
risk.
is, risk.
But true, no different than, you're a smoker. You've elected to smoke. Therefore, your risk is higher.
Flying an airplane, by the way,
Is that
actually will prevent you from getting life insurance in some cases. So
I've never been asked that
when I was
question.
flying, that was one of the questions: do you fly an airplane?
Oh, do you fly in it?
Fly it. Like
Okay.
I'm a pilot.
Like the pilot.
Right.
Okay.
And
So
so you
pilots
have to
don't have
get
life
no,
insurance?
they get special insurance. They can get
More
special
expensive?
insurance. Yeah.
I find it,
Avemco does renters insurance on airplanes, and then but some insurance carriers will not insure private pilots.
Okay.
It's weird. But
There's
they
some
won't-
there's some
They don't wanna pay
movie,
out.
however many years ago, Adam Sandler I think was in it, and he played like a life insurance evaluator, like a risk evaluator.
Yeah.
And I found it absolutely hysterical listening to all the scenarios that I've never thought of when it comes to like evaluating someone's risk
right.
and
Right.
how to like apply a policy to people based on their lifestyle and
They
their
pay
choices.
actuaries a lot of money.
And I
to
think
figure
that's
that
so
stuff
cool.
out.
It's kind of a cool gig.
Yeah.
You're looking at worst case scenario all the time. Like
Yeah.
that's your job.
I always heard.
You probably wouldn't have Tony Hawk as your risk evaluator, but
I always heard stunt people in Hollywood cannot have life insurance.
Right.
Because no one will insure them.
right, because they're probably going to get killed. Or the
no, the
likelihood of
likelihood is
them
so much better.
The risk of them injuring themselves is higher,
Right.
and fatally in some cases.
Okay, so we had this story a couple of days ago, and it was, I don't know if you heard about it, in the West Taunton Little League and the umpire situation down there.
I heard it last night. They talked about
Did
it.
you hear about this?
I
It
did.
was,
Parents giving umpires a hard time. The umpire said, "Well, we're
well,
not."
they're
doing
threatening to kill them. I mean, it's
Oh, really?
it's
Oh, I didn't know it
it's
was that
than-
bad.
It's more than just a hard time.
it." Wow.
It's
Oh,
awful.
okay.
We're following you to your car, and we're gonna beat you up, not really
Mm-hmm.
kill. So the Little League, the umpire association decided, hey, we're not umpiring your games anymore.
Yeah.
And so now
blame
now,
them.
now the parents have to, which I think is pretty funny. And you would think people would say, okay, gee, we should really smarten up. But apparently, no. And in Worcester, a large fight broke out after a youth baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
3 people were arrested. And a teenager was subdued with a stun gun.
Right.
Can you believe this? The brawl began while the players were shaking hands after the game, and family members quickly jumped in. The teen who was tasered is charged with assault and battery, and the 2 adult men were also charged with assault and battery. So a fight breaks out in the line, which has happened before. But I don't see where the fans should be jumping in.
Well, this is just.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, I thought parents were nuts when my kids were young. I think they're
Bad.
worse now.
They are
And
so
why is it-
bad.
And not all of them. There's a lot of parents who just truly want their kids to have a good time, but there are just some parents that are just way, way, way over the top.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think what you find, at least my own, and I've shared so many stories on the air of my moments as a parent being frustrated with parents in our own town and parents for other towns. And, I find myself gravitating more and more. We're sitting by ourselves. And that's not me. I'm a super social person. I I don't want to judge friends of mine's spouses
Mm-hmm.
that are getting a little hot. I don't want to be associated. My husband working college athletics can't be associated, can't be near it. And it's hard. It's so hard to watch because the things that come out of their mouth don't even make sense. And half the time it's because they don't even know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Women's lacrosse is really difficult. There's a lot of different rules than in men's lacrosse. You get a lot of like egotistical dads sitting in the stand
Who
thinking
think
they
they
know
know
all
it
the rules,
all.
and they don't. And my husband's muttering, like, shut up, shut
But
up. You
get
don't
down
know
there
the
and
rules.
coach. Get on the field and coach.
You
Right
know,
now, go do
and
it.
it's so hard, but I fear, and when I heard the story in Taunton, I kept thinking, oh my God, we're nearing a place where parents aren't going to be allowed at all. Or
That's happened
they're going to
before.
start building plexiglass walls,
Yeah.
or they're going to stream games, or there's going to be some, and it's going to be
Parents,
worldwide. And
drop
how,
off your
what a
kids
shame.
and not go
Yeah.
to the game.
As a parent, I am dreading already the last game that my girls play. I'm already feeling that okay, we're not too far away. It's gonna break my heart because I love watching them play, unless it's pouring rain and really windy. But it's that. It's feeling like what we can't even just go out and watch a game anymore and cheer on our girls or our
Yeah.
boys and without it being some hot-headed moment. I don't get it.
My 14-year-old nephew is a umpire in Cumberland for the Little League, and apparently,
So he does what, like 8 to 10-year-olds?
Yeah, and
all right.
I think he's been complimented by parents and the officials that he does a very good job
All right.
at umpiring, and he gets paid a little money for it. So
All right.
it's great little earning potential for him. But I always get worried. I'm like, this one parent's going
yeah.
to snap.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's 14.
What's he gonna do?
What's he going to do?
Yeah.
You know, the worst thing that I'm seeing, and I'll just reflect on, my 13-year-old had a playoff lacrosse game last Wednesday. And that you're not in the stands, you're right on the field. You're on ground level with the kids when they're playing at that age. There's a girl on the other team. I won't say what town. We're not going there. But she was phenomenal athlete. But she had a little chip, and you could see it. She definitely was a little more aggressive, a little bit more intentional with her hits. And the ref called her on it. The father flipped out on the ref. The ref had to scold him. You know what the girl did?
What?
Came over to the ref and went at her for yelling at the dad. She got it right, got thrown out of the game.
Well, yeah.
So what have you solved in this scenario, right? You have a dad that's
Nothing.
hot-headed, a player who you could already see was a little hot-headed,
Yeah.
but
Probably
now
learned it from the dad, by the way.
you've now taken yourself, the best player on that team,
Out of the
kicked
game.
out of the game for your behavior,
Yeah.
and you're taking it out on the ref. Like, it's just so,
So who have you penalized?
It's channeling
the
the
rest of your
kid.
team.
Yeah.
the parent to the kid. It's all learned behavior. And the kid is convinced that I was in the right, you were in the wrong, ref, because my dad said so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not learn the right way to play,
Wow.
the safe way to play. You know, and the ref kept saying that, like, I don't need anyone getting hurt.
Yeah.
I don't even, you know, she had a good intention in the, it's a shame. It's a shame. And it's all levels straight through high school. It just gets worse.
Well, here's a good story. My son was on a travel baseball team, and I think we were in Connecticut, and he was actually on the bench at this time. But and his team was in the field, and there was a play at the plate, and I'm sitting kind of behind home plate, so I could see it coming on. And I said, "Oh, the guy running at home, he's going to try to knock over the catcher." And our catcher was a good stocky kid, and they hit. He was called out, but now they're still rolling around on the dirt, and I could hear our catcher say, "Let go of me." And he wouldn't. So our catcher, I don't know how he did it. He stood up, picked up the kid, the runner, and body slammed him to the ground. Well, that emptied both benches.
Oh, yeah.
But the fans, we all stayed where we were. Okay, this is their fight.
Right.
Of course, they're not 12.
Yeah.
They were 18 and 19, much stronger than us.
Right.
Okay, you guys figure this thing out, and they did. They eventually, everybody separated. But no parents jumped into the fray
And-
like they did in
And that's
Worcester.
yeah.
Did you happen to notice how many of the parents, although quiet, any of them whip out a camera? Because I feel like that's the other
No,
thing. That
'cause
altercation
this
that I
would have
witnessed the other
been-
day, all of a sudden you've got people like this, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
This would
put
have been
that
about
down.
10 years ago, so
Oh,
a
all
little,
right.
slightly a little before. Let's
different.
film everything,
'Cause
kind
that's
of
the
thing.
other
Now
issue
you
is
now
they're
you
just-
would.
And the problem is every film clip that you see is out of context.
Of
You
course it
don't
is.
know
You
the
don't- you don't see
before
the
or
whole
the
thing.
after. They just show you the
Exactly.
what exactly happened.
Here's the
Exactly.
mayhem.
Right. Here's the mayhem. There should be a rule that says if you're going to do that, you have to disclose the first minute before and the first minute in the minute.
Yeah,
after.
right.
have to see what that's going on.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, we got to take another break here on the Coffee and Program, so we're throwing it back over to Tim Draper for another message from Navigate Credit Union. I was thinking about your first message when you get the, can we have your Social Security number?
Yeah.
The old, it's not a joke, but what you can do is say, yeah, just a minute, I got to go get it. And then you don't hang up. You just put your phone down, walk away.
And leave it.
And you come back in about 5 minutes and hang up.
Right. That's right. That's right. I don't answer any 800 calls at my house.
Oh, no,
any
that's
800
not-
calls come to my house, they go to my voicemail. If they really need me, they'll leave a number and I'll call them back. Anyway, so let's talk now about youth accounts. Let's talk about our Embark account, which is a great account for young folks, 13 to 22, really to kind of teach them some good financial management skills. You know, we always say when my nephews and stuff, they get their allowance, it's okay, you got to put half of the money in your bank account, and then you can take the other half and put in a piggy bank on your bureau, and if you want to spend it, you can. Well, the Embark account is basically that. It's an account where you put all the money in, but you can have access to it through a debit card or online banking or mobile banking. All those features come with it. It also has a great little feature called Roundup. So if your kids go and buy something at a store and there's some change some change from the transaction, they'll round it up to the nearest dollar and then deposit that money back into the savings account for them. So there's always ways to continue to save. For the parents, the debit card that comes with this account, the debit card that comes with the account has card controls on it. So the parents can really kind of monitor the spending and where the child's using the account. They could turn off online transactions. They could turn off or turn on gas station transactions, whatever it is that they're trying to teach the child and educate them through some experiences. The parents have an option to help them out. Mobile alerts. So if the account gets below a certain level, we'll notify the parents or notify the young person that, hey, listen, you don't have your balance has gone below $100 in your checking in this Embark account, so you may want to put some money in it, or better yet, don't spend more than $100, because that's the other life lesson you're going to learn. We will not do any of these forced payments if you overdraw your account. As we do with parents, that they have to sign up for it. The Embark account just says if you don't have the money in the account, you can't make the transaction. So you could go to a store to buy your Xbox and only have $200 in your account. When you get there, you ain't buying your Xbox, right? And it's going to be embarrassing because the 20 people behind you are going to be like, "This you wasted all this time, and now I have to wait some more for a kid again." So anyway, it's a great account, and it certainly is a lot of life lessons that your young person will learn. Head over to our Park Square branch. Talk to Christian about it or his team. They'll fill you in on all the great details. Or, you know what? You can just go online and open the account online at naviganceU.org.
All right, Tim, thank you. And more of the Coffee and program coming your way.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
At the turn of this century, 27% of people who passed away were cremated. By the year 2020, that figure rose to 56%. The Cremation Association of America projects that by the year 2040, 4 out of 5 Americans will choose cremation over a casket burial. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center of Woonsocket can answer your questions about the cremation process. Go online to providencecremation.com. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center on Spring Street, Woonsocket. Let them create the perfect service for your loved one. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center.
It's finally here, the first of the 10 Live at Amp Woonsocket Friday night free concerts at River Island Art Park. This week we kick it all off at 6 p.m. with smooth music perfect for dancing. Rhode Island native Becky Bass returns to the Live at Amp stage as our opening act. Then it's Kiki Valera with the music of Cuba. There's nothing like live music in a beautiful park setting, so come bring a blanket or lawn chair, live music, food trucks, on-site bar, kids activities, and activities for every age with the dynamic Jerry Barclay King. If you can't come this week in person, concerts will be broadcast live over the air on ON AM and FM stereo radio and streamed live at OneSocketRadio.com or watch in your home on your smart TV via our YouTube channel, ON Worldwide. Our weekly Levitt broadcasts are sponsored in part by Buxton Hollow Farm in Woonsocket, PT Floors, Walls, and More, Fontaine Real Estate, Heavy Press Graphics, Landmark Medical Center, and State Senator Melissa Murray.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
And good morning. It is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. I don't know if you heard what happened in Burlington, Massachusetts yesterday at a middle school in Burlington. Well, as you know, it is Pride Month, and that's all you hear. It's everywhere. And they were having their Pride Day or whatever it was yesterday. Well, you know, of course, it's middle school, so you never know what the kids might do at that age. And some of them just kind of ran amok. And they just started ripping down all the Pride posters and the Pride flags
You can't do
and
that, guys.
things
Come
like that. But, you know, I'm trying to think, why would they do this? I think they just, it's my opinion, they're just sick and tired of all this Pride stuff is being shoved down their throats all month long. We're just sick of it.
Yeah. No.
And it's everywhere. It's every baseball game. It's every hockey game. It's every basketball game.
Yeah.
And they're all being told you have to celebrate it.
Yeah.
You have to embrace this. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right. It's
And so I think they just rebelled against it and said, I don't want to be part of this at all. And
So then they'll be looked at as
they're the bad
prejudiced
guys.
and
They're the bad guys.
the bad guys. Right.
Kind of doing the. Oh, I'm sitting really far away from the mic.
Could you sit over in the waiting room, please, Melissa? And
Getting all kinds
start-
of comfortable in here. I forgot I have a job to do. But it feels a little bit like that oversaturation sometimes does the reverse over a period of time. And we went through this with all of the schools have a lot of pressure to be inclusive, and they have a lot of pressure to do this messaging to kids, because what if they're not getting the right messaging at home? And I remember years and years and years of elementary school with like bullying. It was like everything was be kind,
Everybody's your
don't
friend.
bully, everybody's your friend, we got a buddy bench, we got this, and all good intended, even Pride Month, all good intended. But when you start to just do it too much, it just starts to flip into the reverse. And I'm looking at like high school behaviors of kids who all went through kindness training and bully preventive type stuff, activities in the younger years, and now it's just completely rampant, and like everyone is lost because it's just oversaturated, and it loses its. I feel like the same thing might be happening with Pride Month. It's almost like it's going to turn now from something that was intended to be good and bring awareness into something that,
Right.
yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
So that's what happened up in Burlington. We had the story yesterday about the 4 kids in Colombia that were in a plane crash
Yeah, that's amazing.
and they survived. 13, 9, 4, and an infant.
Yeah.
And they survived for a month before.
Because they said the mother was alive for 4 days.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I heard that.
So after the plane crash, the mother was alive for 4 days and told the
How to survive?
basically said you need to get away from here.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. You guys need to go.
Yeah.
And after she passed, and the oldest teenager
Yeah, the 13-year-old.
had the wherewithal to take a canteen, take whatever provision she needed to take for this journey. She took it.
Wow.
And then they all went.
And lead the others.
What I found fascinating was the searchers
Yeah.
in the helicopters flying around trying to find them were broadcasting the grandmother's voice
Oh.
out of a loudspeaker in the side of the helicopter. And
Follow
basically
us.
the grandmother's voice was, stop moving.
Yeah. All right.
Wherever you are, stop moving, we'll find you.
Okay.
And so that's what they did. They heard the grandmother's voice in the air,
Yeah.
and they stopped.
All
And I
right.
guess the searchers were able to finally
Locate them.
triangulate where they were and get them.
What a traumatic ordeal, though.
Traumatic ordeal, but the kids are like,
Amazing. If they weren't indigenous to Colombia,
right. Well, that's what they
they
said.
never
These-
would have survived.
Right. The grandmother's skills, the mother's skills.
Can you imagine, though,
taught
saying
them
goodbye
how
to
to
their
handle-
mom, like
Yeah.
leaving their
How
mom,
tough is
knowing
that?
Right.
She's going to die. And they'll never see her
that's
again.
a lot.
So how about this story? This was out of Ecuador. A woman's recovering. She woke up inside her own coffin at
saw
her
that too.
funeral.
That is my
70-something years
biggest
old.
fear.
Fear?
Right.
My sister-in-law has talked often about being a funeral director, and that sometimes bodies do twitch. Like you have these moments.
But I was,
Oh my God! But what?
That's
if?
one of the questions I always ask my parents.
That's why they embalm
growing
you,
up.
so that there's really no
that's
chance
what I
of
was
that
told.
happening.
Well, they shove all these chemicals into you. If you weren't dead already, this will kill you. Well, I was a kid, so I was like, oh, okay. So, of course, when I went to another country, you don't know what they do
They
as
don't
opposed to what they
probably
do here in the
anything,
United States. So anyway, the mourners were all gathered. She was 76. She was declared dead from cardiorespiratory arrest. A bit premature because she started banging on the side of the coffin.
Hello? Anybody out there?
So medics quickly administered aid. Later determined she suffered from a condition that causes a trance-like state, slower bodily functions, and body rigidity.
Wow.
Now her son calls it a miracle from God. Said his mother is stable and on oxygen.
Wow.
I feel like the solution is to
scary,
bury me
huh?
with a whistle. Like, I'm just thinking this through. I'm like, what in that moment? Because you've
Just in
seen
case. I gotta-
horror movies and you've seen these. Was it
Kill Bill. That's one I remember.
Ashley Judd was in some movie where she was running from her abusive husband and she got trapped in a casket.
Like that, really?
And I can't watch that scene.
I can't.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't.
it's
That claustrophobia
claustrophobia
thing
drives
and
you
banging at the
crazy.
side, and you've been locked into this casket. Why do they have to lock it? How about that?
Yeah.
Don't lock it.
I didn't know they locked them.
I think they do. Well, that at least in that scene they did. I don't know, but don't lock it and give someone a whistle and maybe a bottle of water.
Right.
You know, they
Just
did
in
that.
case.
They did that like back in the 1700s with the bells and things like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
There's
look at old cemeteries, you can see out of the bigger coffins there's like pipes that come out. Well,
Yeah.
just in case we were wrong.
And maybe
Oh,
don't
wow.
bury you for 7 days. Like give it 7 days of. I don't know. Now this is really
All right.
freaking me out.
Well, let me give you a good story, Melissa. Okay.
right.
There's a boy in New York, down on Long Island. It's going viral because he saved a baby deer in his backyard. Anthony Messiatis' father taped the boy pulling a deer after it fell into their pool. On St. James, which is in Long Island. And as of last Tuesday morning, the video had over 19 million views on TikTok. Wow. The fawn was reunited with its mother shortly afterwards.
Wow.
I love
See?
it.
You know, they always
There are good stories in this world,
There
Joe.
are good stories.
One more.
and-
One more.
Oh,
Come on, dig deep.
There's nothing there on that sheet. That's good. That was it.
A new type of dinosaur has been discovered.
Really?
All right, go ahead.
Researchers say
just interesting.
a new type of beaked dinosaur has been discovered in eastern Utah. Information published last week indicates the new species was discovered in a 99 million year old rock found near Emery County. Paleontologists have been examining the rock since 2015 and described the dinosaur as about 12 feet long with a bill like a duck. The dinosaur appears to have died out during the Cretaceous period, which occurred more than 66 million years ago. Researchers are hopeful more fossils will be discovered that will provide more information about this new species.
Isn't it funny when you think about it? 66 million.
Can't even. Your
years
brain
ago.
doesn't even.
It can't even compute.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
be
just-
lucky to get to 80 for crying out loud. The thing is preserved for 66 million years.
Okay, you guys are fans of Netflix, right?
Yep.
I was until they changed everything.
Now you can't get it for free anymore.
Well, my kids can't. They're all mad because they can't watch it.
The movie was Double Jeopardy.
Yes.
Oh, that's,
Right.
did
Is that
someone
the-
call in
yes.
to say that?
Is
Yeah.
that Adam
Yes.
Sandler's movie?
No,
No,
that's the one with
the one
Ashley
with
Judd.
Coffin?
And they
Oh,
must know the
okay.
scene I'm talking about. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Now I know to avoid it. All right, if you're in Los Angeles, Netflix is creating a pop-up restaurant featuring dishes from its popular culinary shows. Okay, Netflix Bites in Los Angeles will spotlight chefs from Is It Cake,
Oh, yeah.
Chef's Table, and Iron Chef.
Ooh.
Wow. That sounds pretty cool.
That's
Mixologists from Drink Masters will also be creating custom cocktails for the drink menu.
Ooh.
And it opens
I
on
think it's a cool idea because you
opens on
watch
June
these
Jump on a
shows.
Breeze Airways jet, fly to LA, go to that thing,
Nonstop.
fly down. All right,
You do. You watch these shows and you say, "Oh, that
How do
looks
they do that?
really cool," or "Oh, that looks really gross," but people are saying it's good because they're professionals. And I mean, it'd be neat to like actually try some of that. I could see that
So
being
if you're in LA after June 30th at the Short Stories Hotel,
Don't know where that
this
is.
is where the pop-up
right.
dinner
All right.
will be. You can the pop-up cake.
Pop-up cake.
Is it cake? Is that
Yes,
is
that's
that
the name of it.
is that
The
a real
Cake
show?
Wars, or is it just called Cake?
I
thought
don't
it
remember
was-
cake.
thought it
I know
was
Cake Wars is a thing.
No, but is it? So what do they make cakes and one's fake, and you got to try to figure out which one's not the real.
No,
by
isn't
the
it a competition
decoration?
where they
I don't know.
where they so you can
Oh, there's
bake the
so
best
many.
cake? Yeah, there's a million shows.
So many. One of them.
Melissa is correct.
And I brought this up to Dave a little earlier. I think someone might lose their job in New Jersey. Okay, 5 people are facing conspiracy charges for allegedly scamming Edison Township, New Jersey. That's the town out of $300,000. Okay, they're accused of tricking town officials of wiring money to fake bank accounts they believe belong to a town vendor. Hey, you haven't paid our invoice.
Wow.
Here's our invoice. Pay us. Well, okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Bang, 300,000. Now these people are. It's a large national scam.
Sure.
That's going on. The suspects were actually in Texas and California.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me. None of that surprises me.
They somehow they fooled whatever this town official was, saying you owe us money.
Yeah.
Please send it. Okay.
Well, they're probably getting a flurry of invoices all the time.
Yeah.
And
Which ones are right and which ones could possibly be fake?
hopefully you have good controls. If John was here, he'd be able to tell us how,
how that's
Lincoln, how the
done.
controls are in Lincoln.
Well, this person's gone in Edison Township. Yeah. Well, they probably did it over time. Oh, you owe us $500. Oh,
Right.
you owe us $700. Well,
Right.
that's not much.
And
Well,
they
that's
kept
not
paying,
much.
so
and
they're
they
like,
kept paying.
well,
Okay,
send
well
them
here's another bill. Now it's up to $1,300.
Services rendered.
That's right. That's what you got to put on there, right?
Right.
From Draper Enterprises.
That's right.
You just saw me
Draper
slip a
works.
check to Dave.
Draper works. That's true.
All right, we've run out of time here in the show, so thank you very much. Remember, Double Jeopardy, if you're claustrophobic, don't watch it.
Well, it's just
Don't
that
watch
one scene. It's a fantastic little movie.
Oh, okay, so just close your eyes.
Just close your eyes.
All right, Tim Draper, thanks for coming in.
Joe, thanks, and everybody enjoy the God-given day.
Very good. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Good to see you all. See you next week.
Go enjoy the air conditioning in your office.
In my
okay?
car
In your car.
right now.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember coming your way at 9:30 on ON Radio?
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
The Providence Journal newspaper reports the Rhode Island Senate has approved the formation of the state's new Cannabis Control Commission, and they did that yesterday. The nominees included Kimberly Ahern, who is the governor's deputy chief of staff. Recreational marijuana dispensaries have been told that they had to wait for the commission to be seated before they could start advertising their businesses, even though they had all been nominated by the governor, leading to complaints that out-of-state dispensaries, read that Massachusetts, had an unfair advantage. Mother Earth Wellness of Pawtucket was one of the dispensaries and was ordered to remove several billboards from Interstate 95 or face stiff state fines. Stella Lawrence writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call. Woonsocket's twice-delayed audit report, filed last week with the Office of the Auditor General, rehashed the lack of a tax assessor, but otherwise found no other big issues, according to a copy of the report obtained by The Call, Woonsocket's audit firm, Hague,